As your elected mayor for the past 9.5 years, I am proud of our record of positive action and outstanding service. We are clearly the envy of the metro area, and we handle citizens' concerns as a top priority. After I was elected your mayor in 2007, I pledged that we would focus on creating a safe and clean city offering prompt, courteous, and efficient service to all Warren taxpayers. We are coveted by many to get control of. But since we work for you, not others, so many people would like to take control of this office. This year's State of the City proves, with the help of city employees, the Warren City Council, and you, the taxpayers, we have accomplished our goals. Other cities are looking to Warren for leadership in many areas. Our city is not just the third largest city in population, it is a model of innovation and creativity, and it's been that way for the past 9.5 years. Our administrative team is experienced and dedicated to efficiency. I am a hands-on mayor. I handle emergencies such as the 2014 flood crisis and the storm emergency of about a month ago. I am available 24/7. I return your calls at night and on the weekends, and I place high priority on emergency situations. We have, I'm proud to say, the strongest fund balance in the state of Michigan. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's pretty darn good. We have tremendous economic growth. We have $1 billion investment in General Motors. We have a $500 million investment in Chrysler. We have hundreds of millions of dollars investment in other manufacturing. We have a new Super Kroger. We have a new Super Myers. We have the first run MJR movie coming. We have Menards. We have the new 12 and Van Dyke Shopping Center. We have upscale lofts coming. In terms of city investment, we are second to none. We're building a new detention basin, the first time in city history that we will try to solve the chronic flood problem. We have a new upscale downtown, including Gibbs Planning, which built the new Birmingham, is now going to help build our new downtown. We have Aquest Realty that's going to try to get an upscale 4- or 5-star hotel. We have a lot of other developments going up, including upscale lofts around City Hall. We have our new South Warren City Center going up, which will be a new 24/7 police station, a new fire station, a new library, and a new mini City Hall. We have our new roads project going up, the first in 50 years. We have Patriot Housing going up, and I want to commend our council president and the council for developing that. In addition to that, we have the best public safety, second to none. Our fire department has won the American Heart Association Award, Gold Award for the best in saving lives 2 years in a row. Also, our police department is a leader in fighting heroin and fighting elder abuse. We have a great diversity coordinator, and we're going to be leading in diversity. We have great facilities. We have 2 new libraries. We have a total of 4 libraries, senior housing, and we have a great recreation center. So above all else, we are first in just about every area you might want to talk about. Now, I'm happy to announce our new diversity coordinator. His name is Greg Murray. He is going to be a great leader in the city. He responded to my ad in the paper for the first diversity coordinator last summer. Greg contacted me. We headed off immediately, and I was impressed by his high record of getting things accomplished and doing things when it comes to extending diversity and helping out those with disabilities. Greg Murray is a longtime advocate for diversity and inclusion. He is currently the executive director of the Michigan Advocacy Coalition, a nonprofit advocacy organization that promotes the interests of children, seniors, minorities, veterans, persons with disabilities, and others. Greg is a former project manager of the Macomb County Ministerial Alliance, a multi-denominational based civil rights and advocacy organization. Greg is currently working on strategies to encourage Warren businesses to help those with special needs and developing individual strategies for employment and city government for minorities and those with special needs. Indeed, Greg is the first diversity coordinator in the state of Michigan, and again, with his high level of energy, high level of integrity, and his high intelligence, I believe he's going to be a leader among leaders. Now, All Access Warren, our long-range goal of All Access Warren is accessibility for those with disability, more employment for those with disabilities, and more and better transportation. All Access Warren is an initiative launched by the City of Warren and its Disability Commission to promote awareness about the benefits of accessibility for persons with disabilities. The goal of All Access Warren is to collaborate with Warren-based businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other establishments in Warren that share a common goal, ensuring that persons with disabilities have equal access when working, visiting, or frequenting sites in our city. A main component of All Access Warren involved conducting voluntary accessibility surveys for businesses throughout the city. Greg Murray is working with Career Directions, a company that specializes in improvements for the special needs community. Their combined mission is to provide accessible transportation, accessible business and services, and equality and employment for special needs individuals. This is my priority, and I hope this will become a model for accessibility for all throughout the metro area. Now, City of Warren special needs programs. We have a social group to encourage social interaction. We have a karate class to learn self-defense. We have an inclusive Bakwa fitness class to encourage fitness and teamwork. We have special recreation softball league. We have special needs story time to stimulate the imagination. And the city has done an evaluation of City Hall to determine if we are providing facilities that are American Disability Act compliant. We will make this compliant. And I have developed more programs for special needs, including employment by our city. So we look forward to more inclusiveness when it comes to people of special needs. Now, the City of Warren's record regarding inclusiveness. I have appointed a number of African Americans since I got elected, and I've appointed a number of people in other categories as well. And it's interesting to note, in the first 50 years of Warren's history, from 1957 to 2007, when I took over in November 2007, no one of an African American background had been appointed to a major appointment. Since I have become mayor, we have made 10 major appointments and thus extended diversity amongst African Americans as well as people of other backgrounds, including we have appointed more women to various positions, including appointing the first woman to be the director of human resources, I believe, also the first woman engineer, and also the first woman to be city assessor. Now, I appointed the first African-American fire commissioner, Skip McAdams, and I believe Skip McAdams is the only African-American fire commissioner in Macomb County. I appointed Jocelyn American as the first African-American chairperson of the Planning Commission. They voted her that honor. I appointed Greg Jackson, the first African-American to sit on the Downtown Development Authority Board. I started the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Day ceremony at City Hall. And I believe currently the Warren City Hall is the only city in the metro area to celebrate Martin Luther King Day on that specific date, other than perhaps in another county. I appointed the first African-American member of the Disability Commission, Senior Health Care Commission, and Senior Housing Commission. And it's interesting to note that currently a majority of the Planning Commission members are minorities, and I want to add the Planning Commission is the most important appointment I can make, and currently a majority are members of a minority. Now, the City of Warren's record of inclusiveness. I'm very proud of the fact that Martin Luther King's daughter, Bernice King, sent me a letter commending me on our city's efforts at diversity. I believe I am the only mayor to receive such a letter in Oakland and Macomb counties, and maybe even Wayne County. We have changed the image from Fortress Warren, promoted by the previous Warren administration, to a more inclusive Warren, where people of various backgrounds are welcome to Warren. We are an inclusive city. Now, Warren was incorporated as a city in '57, which means we're celebrating our diamond anniversary this year. The average cost of a new house in 1957 was only $12,200, and a 30-year mortgage was $110 a month. These were happy days, and those of you that may have watched a rerun of Ozzie and Harriet, this home looks a lot like the Ozzie and Harriet home. Now, a cost for a gallon of gas in 1957 was 24 cents, and for 24 cents, here's what you could get. When you drove up to a gas station, you would have usually two people descend upon your car. One would be wiping your windshield, another one would be pumping your gas, and then that same person who was wiping your windshield would check your oil and also would check the air in your tires, and if necessary would fill up your tires, all for the price of 24 cents. In addition to that, they gave you green stamps which you'd fill up a little booklet, and then you could turn that in for a prize. In addition to that, they would also give you little prizes like Detroit Lions emblems or things of that nature. And by the way, at times they would have a gas war during this time period, and you could get gas for 5 cents a gallon. Those indeed were the happy days. Now, the '57 popular shows were the Jack Benny Show and the Honeymooners, and back then the entire family watched TV together, and the shows were so popular, some shows like I Love Lucy, that they closed the shopping centers early, or the stores closed early at night, because I believe Lucy was on at 8 o'clock or 8:30 and no one went shopping. We had what was called a shared experience or a shared culture, and that meant that everybody sat around the television, they watched the same shows, they watched the same news channels, and you either watched 2, 4, or 7, and so we had a shared experience that no longer is the case with today's cell phones and computers and things of that nature. TV was in its infancy with black and white, remote channel changers, a 12-inch screen, no reality TV programs, and only 4 channels. Now, 1957 popular movies were Elvis Presley, Jailhouse Rock, big spectacular movies like The 10 Commandments, The Bridge Over River Kwai, and of course my favorite, Old Blue Eyes, A Lady is a Tramp. And he was one of the most popular singers during that time period, and all of his movies were hits except for occasional flop. Now, 57 cars all had a fin look to it, but the most important thing to remember is they were all made in Detroit for the most part, and they were all made in America, and the center for the automobile industry was the GM Tech Center, that brand new development in the center of Warren. Warren began as a swampland. Warren began as a swampland occupied by a few squatters and some Indians. Beebe's Corners, the original settlement and what would become the city of Warren, was founded in 1830 at the corner of Mound Road and Chicago Road. It was a carriage stop between Detroit and Utica and included a distillery, mill, tavern, and trading post. The first known landowner to actually settle here was Charles Groesbeck in 1830. Charles' grandson, Alex Groesbeck, born in 1872, in Abba Township, became the 30th governor of Michigan, and he was noted for bringing Michigan out of the muck. Hickory Township became the village of Warren in 1893. Warren remained a rural area for many years. General Joseph Warren, Warren was named for him, who was killed at the Battle of Bunker Hill during the Revolutionary War, and his death in battle inspired the Revolutionary War soldiers. Warren's population growth has been kind of up and down. We were 42,653 people in 1957. Today we're 135,358, and I believe we're growing. We're growing close to 140,000. At one time, we were the fastest growing suburb in the metro area, and we continue to be the largest city in Macomb County and Metro Detroit's largest suburb. It's interesting to note that Detroit's population today is 680,000. We're 135,000, and Detroit's land area is huge compared to us, 143 square miles to 32 square miles. I'll bring up something comparable later on to point that out. Mayors of Warren. The first mayor was Arthur Miller, who is the father of our lobbyist, Art Miller, and former state senator. His son became treasurer briefly, and his mother was the wife of Art Miller, became county clerk. Lewis Kelsey was the second mayor for a brief time. The third mayor was William Shaw. The fourth mayor was Ted Bates, the longest-serving mayor for 14 years and a World War II veteran. And it's interesting to note his wife still serves in an elected capacity. Eleanor serves on the Van Dyke School Board. James Ranlett was elected in '81, and Ron Bonkowski in '85 to '95. Bonkowski brought with him a strong leadership and a good background in budgeting. Mark Steenberg was elected in '95 and served until I got elected in 2007. I'm now the 8th mayor. We've had 60 years of progress under 8 mayors with different backgrounds and different management styles. Warren today has a great many facilities. We have Joe Coach Manor, we have Stillwell Senior Manor, we have the Community Center, which is second to none. We have Veterans Memorial Park, we have Arthur Miller Branch Library. All in all, we have 3 recreation centers. We have 2 senior living centers, Stillwell and Joe Coach. We have 4 libraries and 25 parks, and 2 of the libraries will be built this year and next year. Warren, City of Schools, we have 5 school districts. We have Warren Woods, Cosno, Mott, Fitzgerald, and Lincoln High Schools. We have 3 colleges, Davenport, Macomb Community College, and Wayne State University. And we have a number of other educated facilities, including 10 high schools. Now, I'm very happy to announce that we finally have a solution to frequent flooding. We have a new 15 million gallon detention basin and a 42-inch relief sewer going up soon. And finally, we will have a solution to the flooding that goes back to many decades. I can remember, for example, when as a councilman I toured people's basements in 1998 and was appalled by how bad the flooding was. And I can also remember that some people decided to sue me because I was critical of the flooding. But I overcame that, as overcoming many challenges. But we finally are able to do something. Now, I want to add a cautionary note. If we tie into the system that has the $140 million sinkhole problem, it would cost the city at least $30 million to pay for the sinkhole repair that is not even in Warren. And although there may be some assurances we won't have to pay it, we could still have to pay for it through hidden costs or special assessments. Also, it would have cost $24 million more plus a $19 million access fee to join the OMI. This new detention basin will store sewer system overflow that causes basement and street flooding. This is one of the long-range answers to a chronic flooding problem in Warren that we have had for many years. It will take at least 3 years to build the detention basin. That's why we will not accept any proposal that delays this project or has hidden charges for repairing the sinkhole in Fraser. But hopefully, finally, help is on the way. LED streetlights. We have 4,358 new LED streetlights going in. It's a savings of $329,000 annually, rebates of $450,000, a payback of investment of 2.14 years, and this will help our environment, this will help economically, and this will help with the cost that we have to pay. It focuses on lighting in older neighborhoods, and that should be a crime deterrent. Hope Not Handcuffs program. The Warren Police Department participates in a new countywide program aimed at curbing the growing heroin epidemic. And let me take a minute to say that we are part of a growing heroin epidemic throughout the country. Heroin and opiate overdose have now surpassed fatalities caused by automobile accidents. So it is the #1 cause of accidental death in the United States. In Warren, in the last year, from 2015 to 2016, heroin overdose increased by 400%. It went up from 7 heroin deaths in 2015 to a staggering 32 deaths last year, and it's still on the rise this year. So this program will help the addict out. He will be able to enter the police station and get immediate help. The program is an offshoot of a national effort which provides a safe place for addicts to go without worrying about getting arrested. Once an addict surrenders, a police officer will make 2 calls, one to an angel who will respond to the situation and counsel the addict, and the second will be to MedStar Ambulance that sends a mobile response unit and makes the necessary telephone calls for treatment. I want to emphasize, I believe that heroin addiction is an illness. It should not be viewed strictly as a criminal penalty, and heroin addicts should be considered to be patients who need to be helped, not as potential criminals to be incarcerated. So let's help them out. Now, along with the heroin problem, I talked with our commissioner last year and our deputy commissioner, and I said, what can we do to solve this growing heroin problem? And I was told that we can't do it alone because the problem lies south of us in Detroit, particularly in south of Detroit in the Warren neighborhoods that are blighted and abandoned homes. There are a lot of heroin houses there. So I said, let's take the initiative and let's go into Detroit and shut down some of these drug houses. So we contacted the DEA, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, and we took an unprecedented proposal with the DEA, and that was to be deputized and to go into the Detroit drug houses and to do undercover work for 4 months to make various buys. And the result is that we raided a half a dozen drug houses in Detroit that the Detroit police were unable to do, and we made a number of arrests, and the result was that in September of last year, September 1 to be exact, we announced the indictment of 13 members of the Polo heroin drug scene, and we were able to arrest the key leader as well as other leaders, and we were able to put a dent in the heroin drug scene that supplies the heroin addicts in Macomb County and Oakland County and Wayne County. Now, also, we are working to fight the increasing heroin addiction that has been compromised by having fentanyl, which is a tranquilizer mixed with heroin, which makes it more addictive and more deadly, and carfentanil, which is really an elephant tranquilizer. So we're doing everything we can by indictments, by helping the addict, and by doing everything we can to educate addicts, and as well as to educate doctors and hospitals about not dispensing opioids. And some of the common opioids I'm sure you're familiar with, and we'll discuss that later. Now, Warren crime statistics. Robbery is down 10.7%. Purse snatching is down 40%. Motor vehicle theft is down 13.4%. All larceny-related offenses are down 1.8%. 292 arrests for heroin possession, 1,094 grams of heroin seized. One of my goals as mayor is a safer city, and that means, number one, we have to fight the heroin abuse, because heroin addicts are desperate and they will grab your purse, they will steal things from your home, and they are responsible for a lot of the crime. So if we can do something about the problem of heroin and drug addiction, then we can stop a lot of these crimes. Also, we're working on elder abuse, and Matt Nichols, the new Deputy Police Commissioner, is working on doing everything he can through an elder crime task force to stop elder crime. And no other city has done more when it comes to dealing with elder crime. Now, I want to mention one thing in passing, and that is I want to put a word of caution to parents and grandparents, as well as doctors and dentists and everybody. There should be a cautionary note about dispensing opioids such as Vicodin, oxycodone, and hydrocodone. Those and many more lead to addiction, and people get addicted to opioids. They become too expensive. The pills are like $80, so then they go to heroin where they can pay $10 or $20, and then they get into a lifetime of addiction. The last thing our police is working on is illegal grow houses and stopping the proliferation of those in our neighborhoods. Now, overdose statistics. In 2015, we had 161 overdoses and 7 deaths, and I should say in 2015. In 2016, that jumped to 32 deaths and 204 overdoses. Clearly, we are part of that heroin epidemic, and in 2017, we've already had several deaths, including a young 16-year-old girl who OD'd on heroin in a mobile home park. So our Special Investigation Division arrested 74 heroin dealers in 2016. And again, my top priority means to stop drug houses, to close them down, to stop the heroin trade, and to educate people on the dangers of getting involved and becoming dependent upon opioid abuse, as well as not being afraid to raid drug houses in Warren or Detroit or wherever it is. Now, good news when it comes to road improvements. We have our first citywide road improvement program in Warren's 60-year history, $6.8 million in neighborhood street improvements, $1.6 million in the downtown development district, $880,000 in block grant street improvements, $7.5 million in road improvements, for a total of nearly $16 million this year on road improvements. And remember, before this administration came along, there had been no major road project for over 50 years. All right, blight sweeps is another item that I'm proud of. You can see what happens before and after. Our neighborhood sweeps will begin this year on April 17th. We'll be focusing on older neighborhoods where there is a significant amount of blight, and blight begets crime. We'll be going door to door and leaving warnings, and if you take care of the warnings, you avoid the fine. If not, you can get a fine of anywhere from $100 to $1,000. And I find that most people, once noted, are willing to cooperate with the city and clean up their neighborhood. And once you clean up one home, it leads to a cleanup of another home. And so far, we've issued 2,700 blight tickets in 2016. And again, we want to warn you, we want a clean and safe neighborhood, and that means we cannot tolerate blight in the front yard or the backyard. Now, rental inspections. We have zero intolerance for rental homes, particularly mobile home units. As I earlier alluded to you, we had a young 16-year-old girl that was in a mobile home unit in Warren, in southwest Warren. She OD'd on heroin and died. 16 is too young to die. Any age is too young to die, but particularly 16. And I found that these mobile home parks, not all of them, some of them are good, but unfortunately too many of them have rats, they have cockroaches, they have prostitution, and they have a plethora of drugs. And for those particular mobile home units, we have zero tolerance, and for the first time, we are going to go in and inspect them and shut them down. And prior to this, the state has always supervised the mobile home parks because they have a special interest block up there that keeps much work from being done. Well, we're going to challenge the state, and we're going to go in and we're going to clean these up, as well as other rental houses. And we inspected over 6,000 rental houses every 2 years, which includes apartments and mobile homes. And we have almost $750,000 in rental inspection fees collected. So we're going to clean up the city, especially the mobile home parks that so far have been protected by the state. Fire department is another department that I'm extremely proud of. Make no mistake about it, our fire department, under the outstanding leadership of Skip McAdams, is the best department in the state of Michigan, and Warren professional firefighters do an outstanding job. Now, number one, we had 18,000 emergency runs last year, including 14,000 EMS incidents. Nearly $3 million in revenue, a total of $17 million since 2010. And I'm very proud of this. The American Heart Association gave Warren the Gold Award 2 years in a row for saving lives. No other city got the Gold Award last year or the previous year, and that's because we're the best fire department in the state, and that's because we have an outstanding leader and we have outstanding professional firefighters. Now, I want to warn you about a concern I have. Skip McAdams, fire commissioner, told me recently that the state of Michigan has decided to tax our police and fire millage under the guise that they want to tax our EMS service. That is outrageous and unacceptable. The state of Michigan is proposing a tax on a tax. All of you taxpayers out there voted for the police and fire millage, but you didn't vote to pay another tax on a tax that you approved. So I urge you to contact our state representatives, our state senator, and the governor of Michigan, and anybody you can think of in the state to tell them, say no to a tax on the EMS tax. Unacceptable. Skip McAdams tells me it could cost the EMS $300,000. Money that you already approved for the EMS should not go to the state of Michigan. It's an attempt to shift the burden of responsibility from the state onto the cities and onto the taxpayers. Unacceptable. Now, trash pickup. Sanitation is another outstanding department. Over 52,000 tons of garbage collected, almost 4,500 tons of compost, over 4,000 tons of recycling, city-run, not privatized. I want to mention something that very few people know. We are a local city sanitation department. Most sanitation departments are privately run. And because we're owned by the city, because we have city workers, they're unionized workers, we pick up almost everything. Now, when I say almost everything, you may come up with something like a hippopotamus that we don't pick up. But we pick up just about everything, and other cities in the metro area don't do that. And we are also city-run. And we have a great recycling department. And remember this, our sanitation went throughout the city and picked up garbage that people put out as a result of the flood of 2014. And many cities had flood-related garbage stacked up in their streets. We did not. We were out 7 days a week and sometimes twice a day, and our sanitation department is second to none as well. And when you have a complaint, I call up and we take care of that complaint immediately. And we have a great recyclable department too. Now, DPW, we patched 60,000 street potholes. We weed sprayed 696. What other city goes through and takes care of 696? The only city I know that does it is Warren. And we have a new salt truck. And what we've done some of the work of the county on county roads that their potholes never get taken care of, as well as city potholes. Now, we try to take care of all potholes within 24 hours. If you call me up, we'll try to get to that as soon as we can. But under the leadership of Gus Ganem, we've done a pretty good job of responding quickly and trying to make that goal of 24 hours. Now, Parks and Recreation. We've increased pool attendance by almost 9,600. We've upgraded 12 pieces of cardio exercise, and I'm excited to say we have a new agreement with Sterling Heights. Sterling Heights is coming to Warren for their recreation needs, and we're going to get $100,000 from Sterling Heights to participate in this great building known as the Community Center. We have a great facility, and we have great services. Now, Warren Economic Development. That is outstanding. That's made us #1 in the metro area. We have new hotels located on Van Dyke at 13 Mile and between 13 and 14. We have new facility improvements to the GM Tech Center on both sides of Van Dyke. We have a new residential brownstone development on Hoover Road. We have a new Kroger at the site of a former Kmart on Shaner and 13 Mile Road. We have a new $20 million project for freezer warehouses on Bunnett Road, formerly an auto junkyard. We have Dana Incorporated has purchased U.S. Manufacturing Corporation in Warren for $100 million. We have a worldwide Chinese firm to open headquarters in Warren. And what's interesting, our building inspection fees are nearly $4 million. That is larger than we've had even at our peak years in the 1960s. And so we have a record building boom in Warren. Now, the MGAR Universal Grand Digital Cinema 16 at Universal Shopping Center is finally going up, I believe, in April. It's going to be our first new major movie theater in Warren in 40 years. We haven't had a first-run movie theater in 40 years. The theater will have 16 screens with a capacity of nearly 1,200 seats that offer comfort and relaxation to moviegoers. And a great news for those of you that like to eat a lot of popcorn, the seats are going to be a third larger, so you can eat more popcorn and just sit back and expand and enjoy the movie. The presentation-wise, all auditoriums will feature captive view closed caption viewing system for the hearing impaired. All new concession stands will feature the new Pepsi, Sprite soft drink dispensers that offer, believe it or not, 500 different kinds of pop. So you can drink more pop and expand in the seats that are a third larger. The new MJR facility will also feature an adult studio bar where patrons can enjoy their adult beverage at the bar or take it inside the auditorium to enjoy it while watching a new first-run movie theater and expanding in the large seats. Now, Super Meyer. This is a new business in Warren's older neighborhood. It replaced the hospital that closed down. It's taken some time to be able to tear down the building facilities, but I'm happy to say that the new Myers promises us that it will be open at 10 Mile and Shaner in 2018. And by the way, trivial note, they just gave us $90,000 for inspection fees coming up. Fiat Chrysler, you heard that they closed down the Dodge truck plant. Well, I'm happy to say that Chrysler has reopened it with a $500 million investment to produce Jeeps in Warren. The Warren truck plant at 9 and Mound produces Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer. And a trivial point that you may not be aware of, my father got his first job in the Detroit area when he worked at Dodge Truck way back almost 70 years ago. So that's near and dear to my heart that the truck plant will continue to produce and bring, among other things, jobs to our city. GM Tech Center, $1 billion expansion, more jobs. And by the way, I'm happy to announce, it will be in the Crain's newspaper this week, that Warren is #1 in industrial property assessments in Metro Detroit. Crain's Detroit business said that Warren is the best for industrial assessment in the entire metro area. Even though Detroit is got almost 150 square miles, and Warren only has 32 square miles, we are 100 million ahead of Detroit in industrial assessment. And we're ahead of every other city. So Warren is #1, and you know what? That's thanks to our business-friendly climate. That's thanks to our building department, public service, all of our departments, and DDA Director Tom Bomarito, who all work to encourage businesses to locate here. It helps to have $1 billion investment from General Motors, a $500 million investment from Chrysler, and a whole host of other spillover developments, making Warren, again, #1, worth $100 million more than the city of Detroit, which is, what is it, 5 times the size of Warren in population and 5 times the size in land area. Library service, monthly programs for special needs patrons. Nearly 50,000 attended library programs last year, circulated over 900,000 print and non-print material, over 400,000 visitors in city libraries. School visits, 2,600 children, 754 adults. New Civic Center lighting, $6,357. We get a rebate from DTE. And remember, not 1, but 2 new libraries in the next 2 years, one this year and one next year. City senior housing, 99% occupancy. Over $2 million in revenues, no rent increase in 3 years. Water division, over 55,000 customers' inquiries. And by the way, I want to commend Tom Polakowski and his staff in the water department for taking that. That's a lot of calls. And a lot of people aren't always happy because we do have shutoffs and we have other things, but they do an outstanding job. So thank you, Tom Polakowski. Thank you, members of the water department staff. Water losses were reduced from 13.65% to 2.66%, roughly 11% reduction, a savings of $500,000. 8,000 delinquencies when I took over, and now 5,000. Water shutoffs, we reinstituted that, and water losses are down from 6.3 million to 3 million. I want to commend Tom Polakowski, by far the best water superintendent in Warren's 60-year history. He has also reduced overtime significantly. He's highly organized, and he's a well-educated administrator. He has 2 engineering degrees. The previous administrator, as far as I know, didn't have a high school diploma. Tom is working with his staff. He's hands-on. The other one watched a lot of television. Now, property maintenance. We have a free citywide rat baiting program. I don't know how many cities do that. We have over 1,000 property and home cleanups by blight busters. We have over 5,000 warning notices. We have over 2,600 blight tickets issued, $166,000 in revenue. And I want to emphasize this. I take calls and try to return them as soon as I can about any blight issue that relates to rats. And of course, I want to warn everybody, this has been a warm winter, and it is conducive to vermin like rats and roaches. So we're going to have more problems this year, but it's a high priority to take care of these problems as soon as you call me, or as soon as you call the blight hotline. Now, nuisance abatement program. Hundreds of dilapidated homes demolished by city building department. New this year will be demolishing rundown mobile homes, the first nuisance abatement program of mobile homes in the state of Michigan. One rundown mobile home park owner I found lives in Grosse Pointe, and I'm taking an ad in the paper to point out this person lives in luxury while the people he rents to live in squalor and rats and roaches. And I might just do that. Now, the new Bush Branch Library at 9 Mile and Ryan opens this year. It'll be across the street from, or at least near Fitzgerald High School. It's a 6,640 square foot facility with LED lighting throughout, 50-person community room with 36 computer access points, adult computer area with 24 computers, 4 to 6 person study room, and 4 computer access points. It is in the Fitzgerald School District. It's in Southwest Warren. Patriot Place, affordable homes for veterans in Warren. I want to commend the Warren Council and the leadership of Cecil St. Pierre, the president, for getting this through, and also Robert Bacamino for his effort at this. We now will be building nearly 70 new homes to be built in older neighborhoods in the 9 Mile Van Dyke area by the Patriot Housing Development. This is the first phase, and we hope to have other phases. And I think this is going to increase the assessed value in the community when you have a new home in the community. So thank you, Mr. St. Pierre. Thank you, Mr. Bocamino, as well as the rest of the council for your support on this. I'm very excited to say that for the first time, the forgotten area of Warren will be taken care of. We are going to have a new branch library, a mini city hall, a mini police station, and a new fire station going in the 9 Mile Van Dyke area. This will be the first major effort to invest city resources in an area that's become blighted and somewhat crime challenged. And the bottom line is that I feel if we have a 24/7 police station there, we have a fire station, and we have a city presence and a library, we're going to do a lot to encourage business to move in, do a lot to encourage families to move in. So this is designed to put a shot in the arm into the older area of Warren. This will be a complex that will bring city services into the older neighborhoods, many of whom some of the people don't have vehicles to drive north. This will be a catalyst for new business, and I want to emphasize no tax increase. This will be funded by TIFA, the Tax Increment Finance Authority for that area, by grants and various other things, but there will be no tax increase for this great development. Now, I'm also happy and excited to announce that we are going to have a new museum in the city of Warren, and it will be located at Veterans Park. It will be called the Arsenal of Democracy. The Detroit Arsenal of Democracy, a licensed nonprofit corporation, has been approved by the City of Warren to explore construction of a 25,000 square foot museum at Veterans Park at Martin and Campbell. The new museum will be a place showcasing the rich history of contributions to national defense made by Michigan's industry and veterans. The multifunctional museum will include a welcome center, a special events hall, a hands-on learning area, and museum space featuring artifacts, vehicles, equipment, exhibits showcasing the contributions made by Michigan's industry and the sacrifices made by the state's men and women both at home and in all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. All costs for building, construction, maintenance, and administration will be paid through a substantial fundraising campaign. No cost to the city except for the land. And I think this is a chance to pay tribute to our veterans, but also to our great auto industry. I am confident this is going to be something that we will all take pride in and will be a destination place for school children in the metro area. Now, I would also like to point out that I am proud of what this city did in taking on that horrible windstorm about 3 weeks ago. It turns out the windstorm that we had 3 weeks ago was the largest windstorm in the history of Michigan. It knocked out more power throughout the state of Michigan than anywhere else. And in Warren, I believe at one time we had 20,000 residents without power. That's a lot of residents. So we went to quick action. I was on the phone. I was doing what I could. The police, the fire, especially CERTS, and DPW went to work. And I think we did an outstanding job. Now, one thing that we did that no other city did, and that was the fact that I got a call from people like two 95-year-old seniors who were without power and needed help. And I got a call from a woman with 5 children who needed help. And I said, we've got to go farther, so I authorized Gus Ganem, the DPW director, to go out and purchase a significant number of generators for people that were desperate for help, people with small children and elderly people. And I'm happy to say that I delivered generators with the DPW to several of those people. And I would like to share with you a letter I got from one young lady who received a generator. And I will read it. It goes, Dear Mayor Fouts, my name is Tassim Yudin, and I am 11 years old. I am in the 6th grade and go to Beer Middle School and Butcher Education Center. Thank you for helping me and my family. For 3 days, we had no electricity. Then on Friday, a miracle occurred, and you came to our house and brought us a generator, for which we are very thankful. If it weren't for you, who knows how cold our house would have been. With the generators, it was so much easier to get things taken care of. I just want to thank you for everything you have done. And that was a young lady from Beer Middle School, and it makes me feel good that we were able to make a difference for her and many others. Now, I'm also proud of the fact that we established a warming center in our community center. I want to obviously commend the recreation director, police, fire, and everybody who worked in that. We provided over 100 and some cots. We had warm showers. I don't know how many community centers had warm showers. We had hot food. We had great food. Some people just stopped in for the chili or spaghetti or things like that. Or we had hot coffee and drinks, non-alcoholic drinks, I might add. But a lot of people were impressed with this. Now, unfortunately, and I don't mean to criticize the press, but we sent a press release out, and most of the media didn't care about it or put it to the back page, so a lot of people didn't know about it. But we're going to make sure it gets out, and we're going to do everything we can to get the word out via churches and everything about this need. Also, at my request, I got a call from 2 82-year-olds who had a serious, dangerous situation. A utility pole the wires had snapped, and the live wires were on the home. And it was in danger of starting a fire. They had a serious situation. They called for help. And added to this, the husband had stage 4 cancer, and it was important that we were able to help him out. We got DTE out, and we saved their home, and we saved them the stress of having to go elsewhere, and they did not want to leave their home. So thank you, DTE. I want to thank the fire department. They went out and they guarded on all of these fallen wires. Many of these could have electrocuted a child or an individual or an animal, and they stayed guard until DTE came out. I want to thank CERTS. They guarded a lot of areas, and they directed traffic, and they helped out too. And the Citizens Emergency Response Team did an outstanding job. Thank you, CERT members. I would like to thank the Warren Police. We had lights out all the way from 696 to 14 Mile Road, on Mound Road, on Rhine, and all over, and they manned lights for many hours. DPW went out and hauled away fallen trees and tree branches. So this was a team effort, and we worked 24/7 to make sure we could at least make this difficult situation a little better for you. I even called Congressman Levin and asked for federal help. He didn't get back with me, but I went as far as to say, we need national help, and I'm hoping that we can get more help next time, because it's unacceptable for 20,000 Warren residents to be without power. So thank you for our team effort in helping to make this storm a little bit more tolerable. Now, the Zika virus in West Nile and other viruses. The spread of Zika virus is a mosquito-borne virus that has been associated with birth defects and a potentially severe neurological disorder. I'm shocked by the fact that they've done some studies of several thousand babies born in Brazil. Brazil is ground zero for this, and they found that it looks like the development of the baby's brain stops at 3 months, and this could be a lifetime malady. This could be a lifetime disability. So I think I want to do everything I can to make sure we treat all of our catch basins and all of our area. We spray twice a year so that no Zika virus gets in here. And right now we don't have a threat from Zika, but last year it got as far as Ohio. I also want to treat our catch basins to prevent the spread of West Nile virus. West Nile virus has a severe effect on people over 50 or under 5, or people with compromised immune system. It can cause encephalitis, which is a swelling of the brain, and it can lead to death. Probably about a decade ago, we lost several Warren residents to Zika virus. And I want to add this. Unlike the rest of the metro area, I insist that every year we spray our catch basins twice, and I require DPW and Recreation and all of our employees to go out and look for breeding grounds for mosquitoes, such as tree holes, old tires, buckets, toys, plotted plant trays, saucers, plastic covers, places as small as a bottle cap, and no standing water. And if you have a swimming pool and you haven't taken care of it, you can get a $1,000 fine by the city of Warren. We're not going to allow a swimming pool that's not treated, that's not kept up, to become a breeding place for Zika virus, for West Nile virus, for chikungunya virus, or even yellow virus, which is coming to the United States. So I take mosquito-borne illness seriously, and we want to protect the unborn. Now, I'm proud to announce a new mayoral appointment, and that is the new city attorney will be Ethan Vinson. He is highly qualified. He has 41 years of legal experience. He is highly ethical. He's a high achiever, and he's a low-key guy who speaks softly but has great brain power. And I met him over another issue we were working on, and I was immediately impressed with him. And I said, would you consider the position of city attorney? He said he had to think about it. I met with him. We negotiated. The result is, with the approval of the city council, he will become Warren's first African-American city attorney. And interesting to note, he will become the first African-American to serve in the city attorney's office. So I look forward to Ethan Vinson, who I am convinced will be an outstanding city attorney. Now, I've also made 2 great police department appointments. I appointed Matt Nichols, who had previously served in several capacities, including Patrol Division, Training Division, Investigative Services, and Administrative Service Bureau. He also headed the Elder Crime Task Force, which is the best in the area, and he's also an expert on scams against seniors. Nichols will currently oversee all day-to-day operations of the Warren Police Department, and he will be the first line next to Commissioner Green. Also, I appointed Captain Robert Ahern's, who had previously commanded a patrol platoon, narcotics unit, special ops unit, and the Detectives Bureau. Captain Ahearns currently oversees the Warren Police Department's Road Patrol Division, Traffic Division, and 911 Dispatch Center. The most important thing to remember is that both of these officers rose up from the rank. They are held in high esteem by the rank officers, and they are first and foremost an officer for other officers, and they both will be outstanding. Matt Nichols is an expert on elder crime abuse, and we were the first city to actually go after these scam artists against our seniors, and he is making a difference not just in Warren, but throughout the metro area. He's even called to give testimony in states as far as California because he is the expert. Now, I'm happy to note that the Warren Mott High School dance team was crowned the small varsity POM National 2017 champions. And right here in this room a few weeks ago, they performed for me, and I would like you to see their performance. I'm very impressed with the Mott High School POM National 2017 champions and their outstanding coaches, who incidentally are both graduates of Mott High School. Let's view them in action. As you can see, they're a great team and very impressive. Talking about Mott, I would also like to highly endorse and commend Mott's Dave Orvac and his students on the idea of having a wall to honor fallen heroes from Warren High School, from Mott High School, and from Warren Mott, and that'll be anybody that fought in World War II and up to the present. I want to commend Warren De La Salle Pilots, who won the first state title in hockey. Congratulations. The team won the Division III state championship. I want to commend Warren Woods Tower High School. They were honored with runner-ups in the team wrestling state championship, Division II. I want to commend the Warren Cosno girls basketball team, won the state title and became district and regional champs in 2016. I want to commend Lincoln High School wrestler Jelani Ombre, claimed his second straight Division II state championship. Ombre ended the season with a whopping 39-0 record. He has not lost a match in 2 years, and he will become a wrestler next year while attending the University of Michigan. I met him. I'm impressed with him. This is a young man who's going far, whether it be academic or athletic, he's tops. And congratulations to Lincoln High School. National Day of Prayer is May 4th. I will be there. National Day of Prayer is observed on the first Thursday of every May, and I look forward to seeing you there. And we always have a great effort from all the area churches, so don't forget that. Put it on your calendar. And by the way, the National Day of Prayer was started by Harry Truman in, I believe, 1952. City Hall prayer stations. The prayer station, the City Hall atrium, is open to all religious denominations and available Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Wednesdays, noon to 3 p.m. To be honest with you, I had some challenges from a group that thought I was wrong to have the prayer station, and it is prayer station, not prayer stations, and I stood my ground. We had a court case, we had a little bit of a compromise, but I'm proud to say that our prayer station is still there on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Wednesdays. And when I came to work today, I noted a man was holding the hand of the prayer station people, and they were praying for him. More and more, in all of these stressful times, one place that people go to seek help is the prayer station at City Hall. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as I am mayor, the prayer station will stay where it is in the atrium. Welcome to any and all people. In addition, the nativity scene has been displayed in City Hall during the holiday season every year since my election. Now, I was advised by a former city attorney that get rid of the nativity scene, as apparently the previous administration did. It is going to cause you a lot of trouble. Well, I stood my ground, and believe it or not, we went into federal court, and we won 2 major victories in federal court. The result is the nativity scene is here, and it will continue to be here every Christmas time as long as I am mayor. And by the way, this case has stood as a precedent, and we now have other cities deciding to once again bring back the prayer station because Warren won an important victory. In addition, military honors. I want to congratulate, as I previously said, Mott High School students Talene Sarkissian, Daniela Beneman, and Mott teacher Dave Oravec for establishing a Mott Military Wall of Honor for hero Marcus Baywall and other heroes, fallen heroes, who have paid the ultimate price. If you would like to notify Mr. Orvac about someone that you know that deserves to be recognized, call me at the mayor's office at 574-4520, and I will relay your information to Mr. Orvac. And this is a great thing. I want to commend Mott High School. Finally, we're going to pay homage to all fallen heroes that went to that school, whether it be Warren High School, Warren Mott, or Mott High School. Now, Silver Star Service Banner Day is May 1st. On May 1st, in the mayor's office, military heroes and their families will be honored on Silver Service Banner Day. Call the mayor's office for registration at 574-4520. I want to remind you again that buy American products. They are better and safer. This is a copy of a bumper sticker I distributed to encourage Americans to buy American-made products. These bumper stickers were requested by Americans all over the country. I still hold firmly to my belief that American-made products are better made and safer, and of course create and protect jobs in America. We need to practice economic and consumer patriotism, and that means supporting cars made in America. Now, I know some people have said, well, maybe part of the GM car or part of Chrysler is made somewhere else. There are American companies. I want to support American companies who employ Americans. So buy products from the big three, from General Motors, from Chrysler, and Ford. We support American companies, American-made products, and jobs that happen to take place because of American-made companies. Now, in conclusion, I want to thank the members of the Warren City Council for their cooperation and dedication. Kelly Collegio, Mayor Pro Tem, Cecil St. Pierre, Council President, strong support with him, experienced leadership, making things happen. Ron Papandrea, strong support, former city attorney, hard worker, not afraid to speak his mind, and strong for his district. Keith Sadowski, good questions, experienced councilman. Robert Bacamino, strong support, dedicated to improving older neighborhoods, a leader in education and a leader in helping our neighborhoods grow and excel. Scott Stevens, experienced councilman, expert on public service. Stephen Warner, councilman. Steve is a good listener who has earned respect, strong supporter, and what I find important about Steve, he's respectful of everybody. Now, I want to thank the taxpayers of Warren for their expressions of support to me and our administrative team. Your very empathetic support to me at public events, in emails, on my home phone call is greatly appreciated and highly valued. Thank you for your words of encouragement, and I will continue to be mayor as you have encouraged me to continue. I look forward to serving you as mayor and making our city a better place to live for you. Remember, I work for you, not for politicians, not for anybody else. You are my boss, and you will always be my boss. And reminder, I'm available 24/7, and I'm here to do two things, to serve and protect the citizens of Warren. And I might add that I take pride in still taking care of people's neighborhood concerns, and that means no request is too small for me to take care of and too small for me to return a call from you at my home in the evening, on the weekends, or during work time, or even if you need to see me. I'm here to serve you. Thank you, and have a great year, and I look forward to more, because remember, the best is yet to come in Warren. Thank you.